Hey, what's up? Welcome back, 360 Electrician. So I am back in Los Angeles, just left Montana. Rudy called me up, too many jobs to handle. So we came down here to try to take care of some stuff. We've got a client that just bought this old Big Lots and they're gonna convert it to a new store. We don't know who's going in here. We have an idea it might be Trader Brothers or something else. So let's go in there and let me show you what happened and why we're here. Follow me. Unfortunately, you hear about me bashing California a million times and how bad the state is getting. As you can see, unfortunately, we do have to deal with the homeless and stuff like that. So my client's a developer. He buys buildings like this. A lot of times he'll get tenants and then he'll flip the building once the tenants are in. They're a pretty big company. They've given us tons of work. We've built a Popeye's chicken for them and all kinds of stuff. We're working on a couple apartment buildings. When they were purchasing this property, they called me up because all the copper out of all the main breakers and sub feeds in this unit were stolen. None of these lights were working. All the sub panels, all the copper was missing. So they asked me to give them a rough idea of the bid so they can negotiate in the price. And we told them it'll be under 100,000 and probably over about 40,000. Let's take a look and I'll show you what we replaced because the guys have already done it. All right, we're gonna go head back into the electrical room. So the guys told me that we have a couple of feeds here. We've got a 300 amp feed to the 20-ton unit up on the roof. All of that 300 MCM gone, stolen. We had a 3-aught run all the way from the security booth up front, all the way back in the electrical room. Copper was stolen. We just refed that. Just now I talked to Rudy and he just finished doing the control systems and all the relays for the lighting control. We just replaced all the lighting control relays that they broke and took. Guys did a pretty good job replacing it. You can see it there. We have another lighting control box here that takes care of the parking lot lights. Now that's considered phase 2. What I did was I gave them a cost of what we thought it was gonna be just for phase 1. And that was to resupply power to all of the sub panels and all of the main switchgear that this copper was stolen out of. So part 1 is done. Part 2 is then once we energize the whole place, we can start turning on different circuits, seeing which outlets aren't working, what other lights aren't working. In fact, they just showed me this right here, which is the parking lot control panel. If we get into it, you can see all of the feeds were cut. They literally cut the feeds coming from the relay into this sub panel. So we've got to refeed all that. That's not a big deal, guys. That's probably about a, I don't know, hour and a half job for one of my technicians, maybe even an hour. But we get to charge good money for that because it is still time and material. So that's phase 2. Part of phase 1, you can't see it here. We have an old Zinsco switchgear section. I believe one section coming in is 800, the other is 400. And all of these panel dead fronts were taken off. They were all over the place. We had to get some remanufactured. We had to find the bolts and nuts. We had to put it all back together. And then again, from here, we had to refeed all the big size cables back to the sub panels in the front, over on the top, upstairs, and to the back where another condenser unit is. So the guys are almost wrapped up. We've been here about 6 days full time, pulling with our Maxxis puller. So you gotta be equipped to do jobs like this. If you don't have that Maxxis puller that's gonna pull 3,000–4,000 pounds of weight, you're not gonna get jobs like this. You're not gonna be able to pull that 300 MCM. You gotta have the team that knows what they're doing and how to refeed that. You better have the right torque settings. That Zinsco, it's very hard to find the specifications. These panels are gone. They don't have that information. So we have to go back to old Zinsco catalogs to find out what the torque ratings are on those breakers. All of those are super important if you're gonna do a professional job and get into commercial work. Let's come back over here and let me show you another thing. So once we got power back fed to the lighting panels and stuff like that, we noticed that there's still a lot of issues in some of the sub panels where, remember, when this building was built, there weren't LEDs here. They were all fluorescent bulbs. Well, if you look up and you're gonna see a few rows and all of the lights are out in the whole stream. We took about 10–15 minutes to check each one. Those are all on a dedicated circuit because if those were fluorescent from the time they built it, you'd have at least a 20 amp circuit for each row here. You'll notice as you go down, you've got another row that's half out and then another row half out. All of those are panels that they cut the wire just to take some number 12. Copper theft is huge in Los Angeles, and if you're in a city like this, they're a gold mine to your company. Again, this is 6 days of work. We were already busy. We got the emergency call. They closed escrow, and they had a tenant that wants to move in right away. If you have those kind of clients, you're gonna stay busy. You're gonna be able to charge what you should be charging to make a good living and make sure your company levels up in the game. Hey, I hope you got something out of this video. Don't forget to go to the website, sign up for my email list at www.the360electrician.com. That's where you can get coaching one-on-one with me and level up in your marketing and in your paperwork. We'll see you when we get back to Montana.